Eliminate toxins to supersize you. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 173 of our Supersize You annual challenge. This year, we are doing one thing every day to be a better version of ourselves. And to me, that's supersizing. We defined it in January for ourselves. It means something slightly different to each and every one of us, but that's how life is, right? We filter everything we are exposed to, including today's topic, toxins, through us, through our system. Now, I'm going to talk about that first and give you an action item, quick action item for that. And then we're going to share one of my favorite tools, the interaction between all of the life framework areas. But first, toxins. Now, I will admit I've gone through the vast majority of my life without even thinking about this. Of course, we hear the horror stories and see the documentaries of the impact that different toxins have on people. I was horrified after watching a nonstick pan coating that is still available on the market today, and the results and the known results of the hazardous material that's used to produce those products and services. And it's still on the market today. Check out Netflix if you want to see some eye-opening documentaries sometimes. I remember, I think it was probably during COVID that I watched that one. Anyway, we want to eliminate toxins from our life as much as possible. This week, we're focusing on lifestyle and longevity, the things that we can do to impact how long we're here on the planet. First and foremost, we need to keep in mind that toxins are intentionally or accidentally working their way into our life in mass quantities. Some of it's intentional, some of it's comes in the form of different dyes, preservatives, pest control, pesticides, processing of our foods that we eat, even things that we think are fresh, like fresh fruits and vegetables. Many of them are actually sprayed with toxic items before they come to us. So we think we're doing all this good thing by eating organic fruits and vegetables, yet they're being sprayed with these things to help them stay longer on the market shelf. Which again, how good is that for us? Now, I don't know a lot about this, but my daughter does. And she informs me. She's got a couple of apps on her phone. So whenever she goes to buy anything, she runs it through the toxin analyzer, and it's graded on a bunch of different criteria, sugar, calories, dyes, all kinds of things. And she'll show me once in a while, and I'm like, okay, interesting, I'm not eating that anymore. And I recently read a horrifying account of candy, and some of the candies, I went and looked in the pantry, and I'm like, oh my God, we've got like almost all of this list that's got bad things in it in our pantry right now. And we've got a couple of toddlers in the house, and they say, a toddler can have 1 to 3 pieces of this kind of candy that we usually eat by the bag full. So how much in terms of toxins are little people getting? And the thing about toxins and why we want to eliminate them is they accumulate in our body and they become stronger over time. So it matters that the accumulation of these toxins piles up in our body. Where do we think all the cancers and things are coming from? Now, don't quote me on that, but I guarantee it comes from the toxins that are in our personal care products. Okay, as women, we use lots of personal care products, right? So something to be wary of. Our shampoo, our conditioner, our soaps, our detergents that we wash our clothes in, our dryer sheets. Don't tell P&G because I used to work for them. But a lot of their products have things in them that are not good for us on an accumulating basis as humans. So what do we want to do? We want to reduce our toxic levels. How do we do that? We go about, number one, making different choices for ourselves. I'm going to say number one, educate ourselves. Number two, make different choices based on what we know. And a lot of times we know. If I'm eating a rainbow strip of candy, I am pretty confident there's something bad in that for me, right? There's common sense involved, but there's also underlying motives that none of us have ever been aware of before. So eat organic as much as possible. And I could go into a whole diatribe. Being in the food industry for 3.5 decades, I could go on a whole rant about different certifications and levels of trust that's used as a trust label, yet it doesn't necessarily follow our expectations of what organic and non-toxic would be. I learned that in the meat from the USDA in my own personal experience with chickens and other animals and things. So we need to just become aware. We need to use clean personal care products. We need to read the labels on our personal care products and make better choices. I guess this all boils down to get informed, make better choices. Get informed, make better choices. And there's no excuse for not at least looking things up anymore. Might not be on the app you're looking at, but you at least made an attempt to do the right thing for yourself, for your family, for those you love and care about, and actually for your health so you can stay here on the planet much, much longer. We want to reduce that toxic load. So check all the products and services that you use. Also, pay attention to your environment. You know, if you can be the cleanest eater on the planet, but if you're living in a smog-filled city and you're out walking and interacting in that air every day, guess what's going to happen? It's going to have the same impact on you as somebody that smokes a pack or two of cigarettes a day. So again, I'm going to put my 2 cents in here. If you smoke or if you vape, just quit. Just quit right now. Why? Because you know and have known forever how bad this is for you. Again, watch a couple of documentaries and do whatever it takes to get yourself to break that habit. Replace it with something good, right? Our body can actually detoxify itself if we lower the level of toxins enough to let it work and do its job. Truth is, most of us have so many toxins in our body. Our toxin cleaning machines have shut down because they've been overwhelmed and overloaded for so many years, they just don't know what to do. That's why we get all these different hormone and chemical imbalances and things that happen in our bodies and our lives. Again, not a doctor. I only know based on what my personal experience is and that of those I love and care about. That's the only people's stories I can share, but I know that there are so many examples of toxicity that we're not even aware of until we start feeling and experiencing symptoms of it. I was that way with Red Bull. I used to drink sugar-free Red Bull, and this is a good example because a lot of people consume energy drinks nowadays. And high stuff, toxin drinks and foods that we think are good for us but aren't. Anything reduced fat is absolutely totally processed, and it might have less fat, but it's probably got more sugar. And guess what causes more damage to us than fat? Sugar, sugar, sugar. One of the best things we can do for ourselves is go on a sugar and additives detox. You know, I know there's people into fasting and intermittent fasting and things. I did it when I was younger. I do not choose to do it now for a lot of health reasons. So what are we going to do today? What's our action? We're going to audit one area of our life. We're not going to look at everything because that's overwhelming. Pick maybe one food or one personal care product and look that up today. And then share in the comments below that you did it. But also, if you found something surprising, share that too so that we can actually motivate one another to do this and to change. And we don't have to change everything cold turkey right now today, but we should at least start considering and looking at it. Like I said, I live with my daughter and my beautiful granddaughters, and so it's becoming more and more evident and important to me as I watch the little humans grow, right? So that is our action item today. Share in the comments below. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite conversations and favorite tools. And I like to kind of laugh that I still have this because this is from 2021, a discussion I was having with a coaching client and a friend about the different life framework areas. And we were specifically discussing the impact of our mental health and well-being on our relationships. But that led to this creation of my favorite graphic about how each of the different life framework areas actually interact and are in our lives. And this diagram, I share it for a reason. I've kept it this long for a reason. And I share it pretty much every month when we talk about each of the different areas of the life framework. This month we're talking about physical. And so what I like to do is I like to sit down and in my notebook I put physical and then I list all the other areas of the life framework. And I spend about 5 minutes thinking about and considering how does mental health and well-being impact my physical health and well-being? How does spiritual health and well-being impact my physical health and well-being? How does financial, relationships, contribution, communication, confidence, how do all of those things impact me physically? Guess what? We are amazing. Our bodies are amazing little receptors and interpreters of information. The problem for most of us is, and I say this because I am bad at this. I never even heard of it until I came onto the school platform last fall. The whole regulate your nervous system, never heard of it. Never entered my consciousness or my world in any way, shape, or form. Learned about mindset and mental things and goal setting and affirmations and all the things that help me in my life and in my businesses. But nervous system regulation, neurodivergency, all this stuff was brand new to me. Now, I guarantee I have I like the neurospicy term better. I definitely have a neurospicy brain. So I probably have a neurospicy everything. But what I want you to do today is spend at least 5 minutes. You can find 5 minutes today. I don't care how busy you are. I don't think anybody was more busy than me a couple of decades ago when I found time to do this and think about this most days. So think about your physical health and well-being and how each of the different areas impacts it. And maybe rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. I have found personally my mental, my spiritual, my emotional, and my physical, they are all so intertwined and interconnected. It's almost impossible to separate them. That's for me. Other people can totally separate them. I used to work with a gentleman who, I can't even describe it, but he didn't realize it, but he had no ability to separate his emotional being from his actual presence and physical being and communication. And whatever it was, it came out his mouth, not always in the nicest or kindest or best way for the situation. I used to have to travel with him for a business that I worked in, and it was just like, wow. We'd be in focus group meetings and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. But that's the way some people are. So today, look at the toxic component to one thing today. First action item. Second, 5 minutes on how the different life framework areas impact and interact with your physical health and well-being. Share any ahas in the comments below. Otherwise, go out and make it an amazing day. And I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.